Hi, this is Lou Covey with Craig Motion, where Craig and Lou go to the ballot box again. Today we're looking at income tax increase for multi-state businesses.
Oh, joy.
Yeah.
Now, this has to be on the ballot because it's about a tax. And in our state system, we demand that the voters examine all those tax measures. So that's not something we can necessarily avoid. Although I have to think that in most states, this would be something that simply the legislature would have to figure out. And that would be more appropriate.
Actually, it would be the case in California if we had a legislature that actually had some backbone.
Well, we may or may not have a legislature with backbones or any other body parts, but what I'm saying is, by law, if it's about a tax, it has to be a ballot initiative. I don't necessarily think that's a good idea anymore, because then we get this slightly complicated bit of figuring here. Prop 39 is supposed to replace the current law about how multi-state businesses calculate their California income tax liability. It replaces a system in which currently we don't get a whole lot of money from those corporations that do multi-state business, with a law that would cause them to calculate it a little bit differently about their percentage of sales in California, which does make some kind of sense. And would probably, according to legislative analysts, generate more income. I'm all in favor of more income in general, and about states pulling, corporations pulling their own weight. And I'm not sure that they are right now. The corporate tax rate in California has gone down over the last 20 years. And we have major problems with budgeting, and maybe it's time that that be shifted. Once again, we're not talking about an enormous amount of money here. And that is a reservation that both Lou and I share. We would like to see a few things that are going to generate quite a bit more income than this. We got billions of dollars worth of problems, and we have solutions in the million range or multi-million. It's not proportionate. I don't love this particular formula, but I like it better than what we currently have. So I'm going to vote yes on Prop 39.
Well, and this is where I'm going to disagree with you on that.
It's about time.
So here's the problem that I agree that businesses probably don't pay their fair share. Okay, whatever you want to call fair share. I mean, I actually hate that term because what is fair? But states all over the country are giving businesses tax cuts in order to attract them to the state. We are losing business to Nevada. We're losing business to Texas. We're losing business to Rhode Island because of the tax havens that they offer there. That doesn't help the state. And I understand that maybe we have cut our business taxes dramatically. But the legislative analysis says this is going to bring in $500 million in the first year. And yet this law says it's going to dedicate $550 million annually for 5 years to create energy efficiency and clean energy jobs. So it's going to increase the amount of expenditure we do even before we've got the revenue to do it. That, I think, is stupid. I think this is a bad way to go about this law. The reason I'm voting against Proposition 39 is not because I disagree with the basic idea, but because I just don't like the implementation, period.
Okay, and my default on this is that we have been cutting all kinds of taxes for corporations in the state over the last 20 years. How's that working out? How's that going for us? Has it actually helped in terms of creating more jobs in California? Our unemployment rate right now much higher than most of the nation. It suggests that that by itself is not sufficient. There are other factors here. And one of them is that many portions of California, some of the most desirable portions, just have a high cost of living, and that is unavoidable. And your penalty, of course, for having a corporation move to Texas is that those poor people have to move to Texas. So I'm going to vote yes for this. I think it is a more fair formula than what we currently have.
Again, I will agree with you. It's a more fair formula, but when you have a tax initiative that raises the amount of spending above what you are actually taxing for, it's kind of a bad idea.
Those are estimates, and we will have to see how it works. One thing we can always do with any law is adjust it later if we need to.
Yeah.
And that they had to do that with all kinds of legislation at the federal level that turned out to be good stuff that needed to be adjusted. I would be willing to see this adjusted later. It's a statute. It won't be quite as hard to change as it would be if it were a constitutional amendment. And businesses are going to have to pay their fair share.
Well,
And I know.
as usual, Craig is wrong, and
And what?
you're supposed to say, so am I.
Yeah,
Yeah.
time will tell who's right on this, and I'm willing to wait.
All right. We're going to move out of this and skip over to 39 because we already did 38.